See You Wanna Buy a House Columbus, episode 2. Becky, how was your weekend?
So great. I spent the weekend looking at a lot of houses, a couple different clients, and it's still pretty competitive out there. Almost all of them have already gone into contract, and just, we're just seeing the activity not slowing down.
Yeah.
How about you?
I didn't look at many houses. I took one client, first time meeting him, out to a house in New Albany. He did not like it. I don't even know if I'm going to see him again because he's not returning any of my text messages. I thought it was a nice meeting, but I don't know. But who knows? We'll see. I did an open house and it was not busy. I think because it was really cold. And yeah, I feel like after this weekend, I'm like, real estate, not fun.
I know. Let me tell you. I'm like, real estate too. I'm having a real hard time. Real hard time.
But we should give people some good information that they can walk away from this little segment feeling like they learned something.
Yeah, and one thing that I think is a problem, especially again with my first time home buyers, even seasoned buyers, it's hard to get your head around this market because you don't want to get in a bid war, and we understand that. But the reality is that's just what happens with some of these homes. It doesn't mean that the home is necessarily going to go $50,000 over, but just preparing yourself and knowing some of these terms and what we're working with, you can't get discouraged. If you get discouraged, then, it's probably just not your time to buy. But, having a experienced agent, a good lender, and you really can write your ticket to success. So what are some things we want to tell buyers so they don't get discouraged?
Well, I always tell people don't get emotionally invested in it. It was never yours. You could have mentally been moving your stuff into this house, but you only saw it a couple days ago and you might feel like it was perfect for you, but I do truly believe that what's meant to be is meant to be, and it was never your house. And so if you didn't win, maybe you'll win the next time. Maybe you'll have to put in 20 offers, but eventually you'll find what's right for you, and maybe it's not right for the rest of your life, but it's right for right now. And yeah, that's what I tell people.
Well, and I always tell people too, another thing is you will end up where you are supposed to be. And that always happens. You might think this is a perfect house, your heart's set on it, but the reality is in a couple days, your dream house might hit the market again. So there's always going to be another one, and just don't get discouraged. But there are some terms that we talk about with our buyers in this market, this competitive market, that you just need to get your head around. So one is multiple offers, which again doesn't mean a bid war. It really just means put your best offer out there. What is the max that you're willing to spend on this house right now to get it? And if it's not enough, that's fine, but you've got to put an offer out there that you're comfortable with.
Where you don't feel like you're overpaying, but if you would have put $5,000 more in, you're not going to feel bad.
Right. With any kind of offer that you go over, you have to have the funds to show that you could pay that if for whatever reason it does not appraise. So one thing, when I was talking to other agents this weekend that had the listings, a couple of them said, yes, we have high offers, but no one has a full appraisal gap. Well, guess what? If you can come in even just slightly over, but have the money behind you to win that, it's yours. So it's not always about the highest amount. It's about the best offer for the seller. And that brings us to appraisal gap cash. So you can't offer over if you don't have the money.
Mm-hmm.
So, again, you have to just work within your means, make a competitive offer, but definitely just have, know your limits. Know your limits. A couple things that I saw a week or two ago when I had my listing were 2 agents waived inspection. That should never happen. Mm-hmm. And in fact, my seller said she would not be comfortable with anybody that waived inspection because you should always have your inspection.
Well, and if you work with a global banker, agent, they're going to have you sign a document that says that we suggest that you get one and you're waiving your right to your inspection because that's something you want to do. I would never advise that unless you are extremely handy and have owned multiple houses, and in your head you're like, it doesn't matter what's wrong with that house, I can fix it.
Yeah.
Or you can walk around and be like, I know that's wrong, that's wrong, because I have had clients that are like that. And if they feel like they want to take that on, they know what to do. But if, you don't know how to fix things and you don't want to even go down that road, don't waive an inspection.
Yeah. A better way to say that on a purchase contract would be inspection for buyer's informational purposes only. That way it assures the seller that you are not going to, ding them or hand them a honey-do list after the inspection, but you're still, you're going to have that. It's the best opportunity to get to know the house you're buying, whether it's anything that's wrong with it or if it's just, again, where's the main water shut off, in anything. And then that brings us to remedy. So in a competitive market, we normally waive remedy. So with that said, if there's anything substantial like a crack in the foundation or they find a hole in the roof or something crazy, you can usually go back to a seller and address that at that time. But waiving remedy really helps make your offer seem more competitive, and it's enticing to a seller.
Yeah, they don't want to fix anything when they're selling their house.
In fact, I don't know about you, but I'm seeing more and more in the agent-to-agent comments, home being sold as is.
Yeah.
Because I think they're just putting that out there right away. Like, don't
ask us to fix anything.
Yeah.
And it's a seller's market, they can ask that, you know.
Escalation clauses, those are a thing. Like, I love an escalation clause.
Me too. Representing buyers, I love them. And I think it's funny when I talk to other agents that when it's their listing and they're like, no escalations, please. But then you find out they love escalations for their buyers because escalation is going to be the best thing for your buyer. It protects them. Instead of paying this like way over amount, you can say, oh, well, we'll offer $10,000 over and then we'll bump it up over the next bid, $500, $1,000. And yeah, escalations are great.
They are. I mean, they also allow you that opportunity to mentally set your limit. So you can say, all right, this house is $350. Becky, I'm not going over $375. We'll bump it up to $375. You go $1,000 over any offer in between there, and it's yours. But if it goes over that $375, it's done, and maybe we could be the backup offer.
Yes.
And then earnest money deposit. I get lots of questions about earnest money deposit, which is good faith money. It goes towards the purchase price of your house, but it is not to be confused with down payment, closing costs, any of that. It will just, in the settlement statement, you'll see it come off the bottom line. But typically, I have a buyer put down 1%. What about you?
Same. I mean, sometimes I think if you are in a multiple offer situation and you're not going to be leaving somebody strapped for cash, you can go for a higher appraisal gap. I've heard sellers say that they know the person is more serious because they're putting down more money, but it's not going to the seller. So it doesn't really matter, but at least 1%.
The one thing I would always suggest in a multiple offer competitive situation with earnest money is to deposit it with the your broker's agency within 3 days of offer acceptance versus after the inspection. Because when I see that, it makes me feel like you're waiting for the inspection to see that you can still get out of it. But if you're really sincere and you really want it, I would say deposit it as soon as you win that contract.
Yeah. And I usually pick it up from my buyer so they don't have to wire it.
Yeah. Easy breezy. Anything else? I know we were going to do some buyer counseling notes, but...
I mean, I think we did buyer counseling notes right now. I think that's like a little like beginning of what you're going to expect when you have a buyer counseling session with a new agent.
Yeah. I mean, again, the way to win these houses is just find an agent that's very well versed in writing a competitive offer for you, knowing what you're doing, and having a great lender. even having a lender that would call a seller's agent and vouch for you and say, you know, Mary Jane is a great client. She has plenty of funds. There will be no issues with her financing this home.
Oh yeah, and you want an agent too that is going to be aggressive and also not afraid to call the listing agent, ask them what the seller's looking for, and really build those relationships so, you know, they can get it over the finish line for you.
Yeah. So that's it. Again, I don't know if we'll see anything slow down anytime soon, but you know, it's a healthy market and there's still great homes to be had. So don't get discouraged. You know, just if you miss one, there'll be another. Usually during the course of a week, 5 to 10 populate in any one of my clients' given searches. So, you know, you just start all over.
Good advice. Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe. Get your weekly updates here.
Cheers.
Cheers.